What's up, everybody? Welcome back to Smell Good Feel Good. I'm Cody, and in today's video I'm going to be going over 5 cheap Creed Aventus alternatives and 5 more expensive Creed Aventus alternatives. So stand fast. Alright everybody, so Creed Aventus, I don't think this needs any introductions. If you've been within the fragrance community for any amount of time, for like a month or so, you've probably heard about it and heard the hype surrounding this fragrance. So, I'm not going to talk about this, but today I'm going to be talking about, 5 cheaper alternatives to this fragrance because it is pretty pricey, especially if you pay retail. You can get pretty good deals by going to discount websites or buying decants from people and whatnot. But yeah, it's expensive. And then I'll also be going over some still fairly cheaper alternatives, but they're more on the expensive side. So I'm going to start off with the cheaper alternatives, and so the first one's going to be Rayhan Traditions Insurrection Pure 2. This is very cheap. You can probably get it under $30. And it smells, it's a good alternative. And with a lot of these fragrances, they're going to either be trying to be direct clones or just going to give a similar vibe to Creed Aventus. It might not actually be like a clone of Creed Aventus, but it could be worn in similar occasions. Now, this one doesn't have the greatest of performance, and if you like a little bit more vanilla type note with your Creed Aventus, I would say this is a good one for less than $30. Smells kind of like Creed Aventus, and it has a little bit of a vanilla feel to it on the dry down. Alright, next up is, it was kind of king of cheap Creed Aventus clones for the longest time, and that is Moths Club de Nuit Intense Man. And this is one of those fragrances that doesn't smell that great up close. Like if you spray it on and smell it up close to the skin, not that great. But man, I've gotten a lot of compliments with this from just kind of passing by people and whatnot, and they catch a whiff of it. The opening's not that great. It's lemony, it's sharp, and if you're looking, but once it dries down, it gets a lot better. And if you're looking for like a smokier Creed Aventus feel, then this one is what you'd want to go with. Now, this has had a reformulation, their limited edition version, and it's supposed to get rid of that nasty, kind of sharp, screechy lemon note at the beginning and make it a little bit more smoother. I don't have a bottle of that. Maybe I'll get it eventually, that way I can compare the two. But I would say at this point in time, if you're looking to get this, probably get the new limited edition version rather than the original, just because it sounds like it's a little bit better. Okay, next up is a Creed Aventus alternative that has become really, really popular. I don't think it smells exactly like Creed Aventus. I feel like it's more of like, kind of gives off the same vibe, but it is good and it has really good performance. The first time I wore it, I was kind of nose blind to it, which can happen a lot with Creed Aventus type fragrances. People go nose blind to them. But I was at a friend's house and I was downstairs hanging out with everybody, and we were on the bottom floor downstairs, and one of our other friends showed up late, and they came in through the upstairs, and they didn't see anybody and they didn't hear anybody. And they were wondering, okay, wait, are we supposed to meet up somewhere else? But they said they could smell something really good, and they said, so I knew Cody was somewhere. Which is, honestly, it's kind of embarrassing that they could smell me from all the way upstairs. I did like 5 or 6 sprays the first time because it just didn't come off that strongly to me whenever I sprayed it on myself. So go easy on the trigger with this one. They followed their nose, found us all sitting downstairs. But anyways, this is Mont Blanc Explorer. So like I said, I wouldn't say this is a direct clone of Creed Aventus, but it does give off that same kind of vibe. This is a little bit of a, I would say, leaning on the fresher side of Creed Aventus. But go easy on the sprays. I would say like 2 or 3 max, because whenever I did like 5 or 6, the sillage was like ridiculous. I was embarrassed. They're like, "Oh, at least you smell good." And everybody was complimenting me, saying I smelled really good. But I was still embarrassed that I didn't want to feel like I was that guy, you know, the cologne guy who's just like wrecking everybody's sinuses around them or within the same building. But anyways, Mont Blanc Explorer, great, cheap Creed Aventus alternative. I will say, don't buy this at retail. Buy it on a discount website. You will save a lot of money that way. Okay, so my 4th Creed Aventus cheap alternative is another very popular one. It, you know, has kind of replaced Club de Nuit Intense Man within the fragrance community for some people when it comes to cheap Creed Aventus alternatives, and that is Al Hermain L'Aventure. This smells a lot more like Creed Aventus versus Mont Blanc Explorer. A little, I would say maybe a little less bright, maybe? I don't know. They just smell a little different from each other. But this smells a lot more like Creed Aventus to me versus Mont Blanc Explorer. And this one gets pretty good performance as well, and it's fairly cheap. You can get this less than $40, closer to $30 than $40. And you know, the presentation of this and the little box it comes in, I'm like, how the heck are they able to give such good presentation for the price? But you know, whatever. So yeah, definitely check this one out if you haven't already. Get it from a discount website. I do not think you'll be disappointed. Alright, so the last one of the cheap alternatives. This isn't necessarily cheap, but it's still probably like half the price, or maybe like 40% the price of the expensive alternatives. And this doesn't necessarily smell to me like Creed Aventus, but I feel like it gives off the same kind of feel and can be worn in similar occasions, though yeah, this is just a little bit more of a spicy, kind of cedary type Creed Aventus. And this is, I just have a sample, but I'll put a little picture of what the bottle looks like. This is Mancera's Cedrat Boisé. I'm sure all of you have heard of this. It's nice. I prefer the dry down of this more to the opening, which usually I enjoy the openings of fragrances more than dry down, but I feel like the opening of this is just a little, at least on my skin, I don't know about other people, but it's a little screechy, a little rough around the edges, but as it dries down, it becomes smooth and creamy and woody, and I really like the dry down of this fragrance. I want to say you can get this on discount websites around 70 to 80 bucks. So it's, you know, probably double the price of the most expensive of the other cheap alternatives, but it's still fairly cheap. It's still cheaper than if you were to pay retail for a designer fragrance, and this is a niche fragrance. So very cheap niche fragrance that you can get, and smells really, really good, especially on the dry down. So Mancera Cedrat Boisé is number 5 for cheap Creed Aventus alternatives. Okay, so moving on to the 5 more expensive Creed Aventus alternatives. I don't have full bottles of any of these. I'd like to get some eventually, but I just have little decants or samples. I get a lot of my decants from Fragrance Decant Boutique, which I have a little affiliate link down in the description if you guys want to use that to purchase some of your little samples or decants that just add some little bonus points to my profile or whatever, so it might help me get like an extra sample or something like that with my next purchase. So that's a good way to support me if you feel like supporting me. But anyway, so let's go ahead and get on with this. So in the first, I have Atelier Cologne Musk Imperial. This is not what I would say a clone of Creed Aventus, but it gives off the same vibe. It's musky, it's a little fruity, it's fresh, it's ambroxany. It smells good. I feel like this maybe would compare more to Creed Aventus Cologne than regular Creed Aventus, but I like it. This maybe isn't, you know, for some people might not like it. Maybe they'll feel it's too musky, but I like it, and it has decent performance, and I feel that most Atelier colognes don't have that great of performance, or at least a few that I've experienced, but this one does pretty good. Not the greatest Creed Aventus alternative, but and not, like I said, it's not super duper similar to Creed Aventus, but it's still a nice fragrance on its own. Okay, next up is a fragrance that I've got mixed feelings on, because sometimes I feel like I like it, sometimes I feel like I don't, because sometimes when I wear this for whatever reason, I get like this weird like bacon note from it. I don't know what it is. I think maybe it's just my skin chemistry, because my fiance, she says the same thing. Like whenever she first smelled this on me, she's like, smells like bacon a little bit, like fruity bacon. And I agreed with her, it does. But this is Nichane Hassavat sample right here. I'll put a little picture. But I don't think this is a Creed Aventus clone, but like I said, it does give off a Creed Aventus vibe. It is, I would say, woodier, maybe a little spicier, maybe like cedary kind of, but it smells good until I put it on my skin. When I put it on my skin, I get like this bacon note. But a lot of people really like this fragrance. I don't. Maybe I just get nose blind to it, but I don't get beast mode performance out of this like everybody else does. But a lot of people say that this is like beast mode longevity, projection, and sillage. So I would say definitely be careful with the amount of sprays you use for this one. But yeah, I would say get a sample of this before you buy a full bottle. Honestly, it's probably smart to do that with all of these. But yeah, I think, you know, for a lot of people, this makes a good alternative to Creed Aventus. Maybe it's not really my taste though. But anyways, Nichane Hassavat. Next up is a fragrance that I arguably like more than Creed Aventus. I do not think this is exactly a direct clone of Creed Aventus, because it does smell different. But it's different enough that I really like it, and I do not feel like if you had Creed Aventus already that this would be a redundant purchase. Also, do not buy this at retail unless you want to get wrecked on your wallet. Buy this at discount, because you can get it for like half the price, maybe even less. But anyways, this is Bond number 9, Scent a Piece for Him. I really like this fragrance. It's got that fruity vibe that Creed Aventus has, but then it has like this, it's got this like depth to it from juniper that I really like. And it's funny, because normally I don't like juniper, but for this it works. And this has really good performance on my skin. It really pushes off me, and it lasts like all day. And yeah, I don't know, man. It's just, it's kind of like I almost feel like Scent a Piece for Him is like Creed Aventus Noir. Like it's the nighttime version of Creed Aventus. So if you haven't smelled Bond No. 9's A Scent of Peace, definitely check it out. They have another fragrance that seems like it might be more of a clone of Creed Aventus or Elysium, and that's HTML. But that one doesn't have very good performance, and it's pretty much just bright, citrusy, fruity pineapple, and not much else. Not very much depth to that one. But anyways, definitely check out Scent of Peace for him by Bond No. 9. I really like this one. Okay, next up is something that I just mentioned. It's Roja Parfums Elysium Parfum Cologne. This is a very popular fragrance. It is not a Creed Aventus cologne, but it could be worn in the same situations as Creed Aventus. I would say that this is a more fresh version of Creed Aventus, so more like spring and summertime, whereas Creed Aventus I feel could be worn damn near year round unless it's like extremely cold outside. But you know, if you're inside, you can wear it year round, doesn't matter. But yeah, I really like Elysium cologne, and the only thing that I don't like about it is the price, and I wish it had better performance. The performance isn't that great. It's maybe average to slightly below average. I just really wish that this was like beast mode on my skin, because I love the scent of this. If I could get it at a good price, I would probably pick up a full bottle of it though. But yeah, just, yeah, really wish it had better performance. Okay, so last is something that was a pleasant surprise to me. I didn't expect it to be this close to Aventus. It is Tiziana Terenzi's Orion, or Orion, I don't know. Orion, whatever. This smells really good. This is a very good Creed Aventus alternative. Paying retail for this would be very expensive, but I think I've seen it online at discount websites for around 120 bucks or so. So definitely go that route. But yeah, this is very similar to Creed Aventus. I'd say it's more in the middle between being super fresh and fruity and kind of smoky. It's like a good balance of both. And this has really good performance. I sprayed this on my hand. I chilled out for a few hours, and I went to the gym for about an hour, sweat like crazy, went home, took a shower, scrubbed and all that other stuff, and I could still smell this on the back of my hand. So this stuff does have very good performance as far as longevity goes. I don't know about projection and sillage, because I've only worn it a few times. But yeah, the performance on this as far as longevity goes is very good. I'd say if you want to have that Creed Aventus scent, but you don't want to have Creed Aventus, don't know why, but you know, whatever. This is really good option right here, especially if you want to fork up the money for it. So there you have it, guys. That is my 5 cheap and 5 expensive Creed Aventus alternatives. Give you guys a bunch of options. And yeah, if you have any of these, tell me which ones of these from each group is your favorite alternative to Creed Aventus. Tell me which one's your least favorite. If you like this video, please like. If you haven't subscribed yet, please subscribe. If you didn't like the video and you want to dislike it, at least let me know why. I'd like to have some constructive criticism. So you guys have a great rest of your day, and if it's the beginning of the week when you see this, have a great week. I will see you all in the next video. Bye-bye.